Get ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live Studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Michael here, Oilers Live, with another Wednesday edition of Oilers Live. Perhaps we'll get to that at some point today, the last Wednesday edition of Oilers Live, as we move to a new format over here at Heavy Hockey Network. Probably gave too much away already. I've got as my guests tonight, not guests anymore, co-hosts, let's call you. I've got Ryan, senior writer for Heavy Hockey Network, regular contributor here on Oilers Live. Patrick heads up the Oilers Fanatic on YouTube and regular contributor on Oilers Live. And then Mr. Kevin McCurdy, our nomad, I guess, if you will. Regular contributor here on Oilers Live. And, yeah, that's right. All right, welcome, guys. We're on a little bit earlier than usual, so we all look alive. This is good. Maybe we get a little bit more of a different crowd tonight. We'll see. Bob, the goalie, already said he'll see us in the chat. And I said I'm not scared of his threats. I see we got Russ already in the chat. Friend of the program. Friend of
welcome, Russ.
Oilers Fanatic. And some stranger. A little early today, boys. What a pleasant surprise. I'm sure it is. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I guess, Kevin, I forgot to send you the hat.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to make an arrangement there at some point.
Yeah, these ones are good. They got this is a special edition, little crew hat. There, we'll get you one.
Hey, none of that cheap imitation like Adjust-A-Band stuff. You get the legit flex fit.
Oh yeah, nothing but the best for this crew here. Oh. So, early in the season, I think this is probably the best time to talk hockey. We haven't been on regularly as of yet, but we're about to change that. This is the start, as I kind of hinted at, start of something new for Heavy Hockey Network. But, I think we got lots to talk about, right? Like the Oilers have been... Well, what was it? A guy at one of the radio stations once told me, he said, when the Oilers are doing really well, it gets really boring around here. And when they're not doing so well, there's always lots to talk about. So, I don't know where to start. The Oilers last night pulled out a 3-2 win after, overtime, giving up a 2-goal lead.
After making it more difficult for themselves than they needed to for the error number of times. I don't know. It's
I don't think I can count that.
It's just a 999 now.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. I'll tell you that. It's something. We've kind of had this every year. I mean, this is an expectation now, right? The Oilers to come out slow, come out a little bit sluggish, maybe have some trouble adjusting to new systems, new coaches here and there. Anybody concerned?
No, I mean, there's always a bunch of new faces, right? So it takes time, and I think it would just be if we can find some consistency with the lines. I know Chris Knobloch and pretty much every other coach before him loves to shake things up, but maybe give some of these younger guys a bit more leash. I mean, not they need to be staples in the top six or anything like that, but we saw what Ike Howard can do when you actually put him with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, put him with some offensive guys. And that's like I said, not saying that he has to be a fixture there, but maybe giving those guys some more shifts. I mean, during the time they were struggling, they were relying way too much on Connor and Leon, and this is a really deep team. And just like to see the coach utilize that depth a bit more and let some of these guys have more of a chance.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair assessment. Kevin, you're about to say something.
I just think they'll figure it out. It gets frustrating as a fan and as an analyst and as whatever category you want to put it under. It gets frustrating, the same thing every year. And the more I watch, like, you guys all probably played like Mario Kart at some point in your life, right? And you're waiting for the green light and you smash the go button a little bit too early and your car spins out. I honestly kind of get that vibe from this team, like year after year. They want to go, and then they want to go a little bit too hard, and their timing isn't quite as on as it was, obviously in this season. By the end of the playoffs, you're a finely tuned machine and you can read the other guy's thoughts. And then over the summer, that timing goes a little bit, and um, just generally things flip a little bit, and you insert a bunch of new guys into your lineup, and you get to the start of the season, and everything's a half second off, right? And all of those half seconds make a difference. They make a difference for Bouchard pinching twice and getting burned. They make a difference for, timings into a corner or thready passes through seams that they would have made in the finals or late in the playoffs, but they're just not making now. I think they're starting to figure it out. The last night was kind of the first step of that. They let their foot off the gas in the third period, but overall, I think they're getting there, and I'm hopeful that they're going to get there faster this year than they have in previous years.
Yeah, and Ryan, I'll give you a chance to say your thoughts on it. I kind of, maybe I'll pop in. You can sort of finish off on this, whether we should be scared or not. But I think in every year it's been the same, right? And by every year, I mean the last few years, I guess, right? As the Oilers come out sluggish, they have a long playoff run, and a shorter off season. I mean, that's expected. I was making fun in our group chat about the Florida Panthers yesterday. Same thing, right? Like they come out a little bit slow as well, which, is not, I think it's just become this sort of expectation, and all of those mistakes, like we've seen Bouchard make those mistakes throughout the year, every single year. It's just at the beginning of the season, it's like, seems to happen every game, right? And as the season progresses, it becomes more like one every 10 games. But those are like prime Bouchard type of mistakes on defense. Like he'll make them all year long. It's just he makes 10 to 20 of them in the first 7 or 8 games, and it becomes frustrating. This is what the naysayers talk about, like Oilers be Oilering, which I think makes us cringe when we hear that, but it's these first sort of 5 to 10 games every season that I think all those mistakes that the usual suspects make, come out, and then they settle in. We go through this sort of sweating phase. They settle in, and I think we're usually pretty good from a shot perspective. I don't think we're much under the league average on shots on net. So it's just an efficiency problem, right?
Well, and some of those shots are useless. Come on, that's been a major pet peeve of mine this entire season, and even last season. It's just useless point shots that don't have a hope in hell of going in. Some of these are just total muffins, and all they do is either seize momentum or seize play altogether, depending on if it's into the corner or into the goalie's glove. It's little stuff like that where they just kind of make better decisions. Like when Davo and Draisaitl are starting to get a little pissed off about it, that's when things will start to change. And they sounded like they were pretty irritated a couple nights ago with at least one dump in. And I don't mean to pick on that one player now, because I talked about it here and I talked about it on Low Tide Show, but it's just that kind of stuff irks me because it's just avoidable, silly mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like that's fair assessment. They are avoidable and silly, and I do think though over time that the Oilers work their way out of it. Ryan, I know you're quiet there in the corner. You're waiting, thinking, what you got?
Yeah, so for me, concern, I don't think is the right word, because we've seen this play out for a number of years in a row. I think We've made the playoffs 6 years in a row. Last year we were third in the division. We were second in the division every other time, and we always have a slump or two in either at the beginning of the season or in the middle of the season sometime, right? I always seem to put whatever cold snap we get minus 30 for a week or two here, and that's when the Oilers seem to go cold too. But the starts, they've been rough the last 3 seasons now, if you want to call this one and put this one in that rough category, even though our record is still hovering near 500. But I'm not too worried. Do I think this team's going to go to the Cup final again? That's a whole other conversation. But they're going to make the playoffs with their eyes closed. Like, they can skip and do whatever they want all the way down the regular season, and they'll get in there with their eyes closed. No problem. But having said that, my one reason for concern is that we've replaced 4 of our 7 most efficient scorers from last season with Andrew Mangiapane, Jack Roslovic, and then Savoy, Howard, Tomasek, I guess is how you pronounce it. Right? It's a lot of magic beans and pixie dust. Like, these guys have a lot of potential, but it hasn't turned into real NHL results yet. I don't want to sound too negative, because I think this transitional phase is necessary to get younger and faster. I really like Savoy. Like, I'm in love with his game. I think Howard is going to develop into a really powerful weapon in the top 6. And I'm intrigued by Tomasek. I like Roslovic. I like Mangiapane. It's just I don't see it clicking yet. And it might not be as deep as last year's team. And that's going to have to be okay this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I also think that every year we have the same conversation, right? Is that the team doesn't, we've got rid of some, quote unquote key players, right, every year. And that's and that's the challenge. That's also the challenge, right? When you start out slow like this. Like, I think, Patrick, you got your hands full over at the Oilers Fanatic every year at this point in time, right? It's like, these are, we're going to talk about lines today, tonight for sure. And the Oilers seem to have some major turnover every year, as does every team, let's be honest, right? But it's that never ending, who's gonna play with, McDry scenario, right? And we, it was every team has those questions. In our case, it just happens to be 2 of the best players in the world, right? As fans of the Edmonton Oilers. But it was, like in Vancouver, it was who's going to play with the Sedins, right? And who's going to play with whoever. It doesn't matter. Insert superstar here. The Oilers are trying to find that magic bullet that'll take them to that last game of the season, last win of the full season, right? And I mean, Patrick, you're always reporting on us. Like, it's a daily thing. Has it felt like more this year or about the same? I mean, what's your feeling on that?
I'd say it's about the same. I mean, like I said, we this happens pretty much every October, November. They get, especially over the last few years, this team just does not get off to a strong start. I don't know whether it's the long season before, dealing with injuries, but I think the biggest thing is, like you said, there's been a lot of turnover, a lot of new faces. So Chris Knobloch's trying new combinations, and guys take time to get things figured out. And as I was mentioning off the top, I think he's been relying a bit too much on McDavid and Draisaitl already, playing them a ton. When let's see what some of this depth we have and how it works. And you give Ike Howard a chance, you give Matt Savoy a chance, and you might get some more timely scoring here. And like Noah Philp, we all made the joke, like, okay, he scored, so he's out of the lineup now. Like, what are we doing here? We're a team that was having trouble scoring goals, and then the guy scores a goal and you take him out of the lineup. Like, you're becoming your own worst enemy at some of these things. So yeah, I'm not worried. Like, this team will figure it out. They're too deep. They're too talented not to figure it out, but it would be nice if they could find a way to get off to a better start. But I think they just keep kind of making, not just the players, but the coaching staff as well, some of the same mistakes year after year. It's like, you've got 2 of the best players on in the world on your team, and I get the temptation to go to them a lot, but he has to find a way to include more of these players and rely on them and give them an opportunity here.
Well, just playing them 24 minutes a night isn't going to get it done, right? Like, why are we paying them 24 minutes a night in October?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Yeah, you want to win some. The same thing. The other thing I had, this is a good detour for a second. I really got irritated the other night, and as irritated as I get at a hockey game because it's a hockey game. But like, why are we chasing a 4-1 hockey game or a 1-4 hockey game with 3 minutes left and just goosing the crap out of every bit of talent that we have for the last 4 consecutive minutes? Like, that game is lost. By any real statistical likelihood, that game is lost. It's over. And you're playing in under 24 hours in another arena in a different state. So what are we doing? And that is the point that you pack it in, you throw the third and fourth line out there and say, have fun, boys, make some magic if you can, and see what happens. But save the big guns for the next game. I don't see why you would burn your best talent in a game in October trying to chase an extremely improbable outcome. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does seem like, the same, to Patrick's point, right? Like the same mistakes year over year, and that is for everybody, and what you're talking about there obviously is coaching, right? And I don't begin to think I could run an Oilers team like this, but it just feels like every coach Patrick could, but every coach seems to do the same thing, and the sad part is is that when Knobloch started out, he was suggesting that like everybody's going to get a chance to play, and that only happened for a little short while. And right now, especially this time of year, what a perfect chance to get the whole team moving. Right? There's they're I love X for the creativity that's out there, and people like posting ice times and that, and when you've got like Draisaitl and McDavid with 24 minutes and everybody else with half that, who's really playing, right? And I think it's tough. It's tough for a guy like Ike Howard, who's finally scored his first goal. Right?
It's
like
October.
Yeah.
It's October. This team could make the playoffs with their bloody eyes closed, right? Like, play the youth.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like Connor and Leon are tearing it up either. Connor just got his first goal of the season last game.
Nice goal, though.
No, yeah.
That was a nice
shot.
I'm just saying it's not like the rest of the lineup isn't doing anything, and Connor and Leon have 10 goals already each. Like, let the other guys have an opportunity here. They seem to be putting the puck in more than those guys are anyway, and they'll get their points. I'm not trying to knock them, but just saying, like, even if they're struggling, that's another reason to try out the rest of the roster there.
Yeah. Just to play a devil's advocate here, boys. Connor and Leon are actually averaging less ice time at 5 or at even strength this year than they were last year.
Because we're playing them on the penalty kill, trying to turn it into an offensive opportunity. And
that's exactly right.
I get the vibe, but let's do it in when we feel that we can use it for an advantage rather than just all the time.
Yeah, I didn't mind that in the playoffs against LA.
No, absolutely. Really started. Because if they make a mistake, you take off, and good things can happen. But in a nothing burger thing in October, let's go, right? Like, let's get the other penalty killers going and see what's there.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, is let's see what's there, right? The Philp thing is a good example. There are other reasons for Philp coming out of the lineup, but
giveaways.
Why not? Like, get these guys. when you got a guy that like scores a goal and anything like that, like just give them some more ice time. Let's see what they got, right? Instead, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, and I like, don't get me wrong, I like Knobloch. The guy's as cool as a cucumber up there, but it could be a statue at the top. Might not even really be him. It might just be that guy from the stands last year. Then Knobloch's actually been on vacation.
It's no slight against him too, right? Like every coach that the Oilers have had in the McDavid era has had some combination of these decision making. So you sort of, not to imply that McDry is running the show, because I'm not sure that that's the case. I'm sure they have input, but I think it's still a coaching thing. But just organizationally, the Oilers seem prone to a certain type of decision making, and it seems to repeat itself every single year and every coach ad nauseum. And I get it, coaches trust the vets and whatever, yada yada yada. But there's so much talent on this team. Play the youth. Use the big guns when you have to. Let them mostly try not to get injured through the season this year, because we could use them at their best once we get through that.
I'll be really interested to see how the ice time utilization changes after November, right? Because, right now we just had this big 5-game Eastern road trip, and then all of our Eastern travel is done December 18th. Right, we have 4 games at home in November or something like that. 10 on the road.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like 20,000 kilometers of travel in 1 month.
It's a ridiculous amount. But to what Knobloch was saying during training camp about the young guys like Savoy and Howard, he wants to make sure that he's not putting them in a situation where they're going to fail, and it's an adjustment to get used to that kind of travel. Whether you're Savoy traveling on the bus in the A, or whether you're Ike Howard, again, college, likely taking the bus as well. They're not going super far. They're not doing 20,000 kilometers of traveling in a month, right? So the NHL game and the NHL schedule takes a toll on the body that none of us are used to, and it takes time for a professional athlete to adjust to. So I kind of, as much as I want to see the young guys play too, don't get me wrong, I'm just trying to play some devil's advocate here, but I don't hate the approach that Knobloch is taking by limiting the kids' ice time right now, just to preserve their bodies so they don't crash in March, April, and June.
So they don't haul away themselves?
Yeah, we don't want to have a kid that's going to be injured all the time, right? But the caveat to that is that there's got to come a time when these kids get the opportunity to get higher up in the lineup, because I think Savoy is one of our top 6 forwards right now. I think he's got that much talent, and I like his game that much. It's just
he's been outstanding, honestly. I love watching him play. Yeah.
He took that. Did he take that OT winning draw? Was that him that took it? He's a natural center. Yeah. He knew exactly where to have. I think it was Ekholm. And he knew exactly where to have the other guy, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He won a clean draw, Ekholm topped it back, and Wallman just about took the goalie's head off with that slap shot, right? Like Ullmark was ducking out of the way of that slap shot. Like, what is this, the Mighty Ducks? Like,
they were in the V formation, I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even that. Just everybody's diving out of the way of Goldberg's shot, right? Like,
but on that Savoy topic, like, this is what kind of one of the things that we're talking about in terms of utilization. Like, you got a guy like that I think, when you watch him play, he's on the verge of breaking out.
Yeah,
for him.
Yeah, get him some more minutes, right? Like, that's what I'd love to see. Just get him some more minutes.
Well, what I love about Howard too is he actually shoots. We got too many passers on this team. Like, Howard at least tries to shoot the puck. He doesn't always succeed in shooting it, but he's at least trying to shoot it.
There's a balance between those two guys. Like, Savoy, I think, is actually technically the right way to say it. Savoy is the crowbar with skates. You send him into the corner, he's coming out with the puck, right? Like, that's who he is. That's a perfect compliment for Draisaitl. And he also has a bit of a trigger finger too. I just think he needs to learn to harness it. Whereas like Ike Howard is a natural shooter, and with the puck he's super dangerous, but he does try the one-man expedition a little bit too much. Like, you're a real good kid, but you're not Connor McDavid, and even Connor's having issues with that these days. So I think there's a balance between the super offensive and a little bit more defensively minded that they could both find from each other, and I think that will bring interesting results.
Yeah, Savvy's a top 10 pick, remember, right? 9th overall. So like, it's not as if he doesn't have the offensive flair. It's just puck's got to go in for him, and he's got to get that confidence. He's getting chances; it'll come for him. I'm not too worried about him.
Well, and but sometimes I think you got to push that, right? Like when you see that in a player, you got to push it. You gotta push it until it comes out. And I thought last night until Howard gave away that awful one at the blue line, I thought he was going to get a few more extra minutes. It looked like Knobloch was going to play him in the third a little bit more, but that was horrendous.
Yeah. When he scored his goal, I mean, like, he's not getting a regular shift with Connor and Leon. Like, I kind of had a little bit of a nap and woke up at that time. Oops. But had Howard taken a penalty and was like fresh out of the box, part of me was wondering if he was even supposed to be out there at that time. If he hadn't scored, I wonder if he would have got reprimanded for that.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, he made a goal scorer's decision there, though.
Yeah,
went straight to the slot. He probably wasn't supposed to be there, but like, that's a natural move for a guy like him, right? That wants to shoot the puck, like, go straight from there. And then college, I mean, he would have been the guy, right? If he didn't go straight out, then they would have been questioning, right? Yeah. So some of that's probably just habit.
Well, Leon needs a trigger man, to the other point. Like, I do like Savoy and Podkolzin, and I do think that they can bring that offensive element. Podkolzin's got a hell of a shot when he uses it. He just doesn't use it enough. And Savoy, to be seen, but both of those guys in the singular are perfect for Draisaitl's skill set. But somebody needs to shoot besides Leon. And, for a while that was Evander Kane, and somebody that is shoot first, ask questions later. That should have been Jeff Skinner. Just didn't really work out like that. So if they can get Howard into that role and Leon can bring up the kids, then I mean, and still use Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman when he's back as your top line. That's going to be some ugly stuff, and the bottom six going to be gross too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what we'll see tomorrow against Montreal in terms of line combos. I mean, I still think they're going to be shuffled, obviously, for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking on Natural Stat Trick to see top line combos.
Good luck.
By time on ice.
Yeah,
they're all pretty
manual
even,
searching.
Yeah. Yeah, Howard, Henrique, and Tomaszek are the the one that have played together the most.
And even like when Tomaszek was on the top line with McDavid, he still got like 10 minutes of ice.
Their
right?
course
like
it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think Tomaszek is slipping just a little bit right now. I think he's getting a little frustrated, and I think he's getting put down the lineup a little bit. That's kind of unfortunate, but I think they need to keep giving him opportunity. I hope they're not looking at giving up on a guy in like friggin' October, because we gave Brownie until January, February before he scored his first goal, and then he was pretty good after that. So we kind of just got to let him break the ice, and he's doing a lot of the right things. Though last night's game was not his game.
Yeah, a lot of the underlying stats are good with Tomaszek, but the offense isn't quite there yet. And like, all of his good chances have come on the power play. We got to remember that. It's like, yeah, he's been on the fourth line 5-on-5 for every game except one. But like, he needs to do a little bit more offensively 5-on-5. Part of that might be his playing partners. Part of that might just be getting used to the pace of the North American game. But like I said earlier, he's doing a lot of good things. I like his skill set. It's intriguing. He's got the size. He knows how to score clearly. Everyone's raving about his shot coming out of training camp. So he's a guy I've got some patience for.
Yeah, so it comes up with something that I kind of wanted to ask you guys about. Like, let's go around a horn. I'm kind of curious who you think. Name one player you think is trending upwards for the Oilers, and one that's trending down. From the forward perspective, we can talk about D later. I think the D is pretty much set on this team, right? Like that's maybe a more obvious conversation. Although we'd like to see, I think, more out of certain D men than others. But that'll even itself out, I'm sure, during the year. If I had to I'll start so you guys have a moment to think about it. But I kind of like, we were talking about it, like Savoy, Savvy, whatever you want to call him. Like
Matt.
he is Matt. Yeah, let's call him Matt. We got that right. Like he is a guy that for me has been right. Like and just being rewarded with, some points, in his stat line last night in overtime. Like that's getting some overtime minutes, right? Tells you exactly everything you need to know, because that's an important draw for him at that point in time, right? So that to me kind of talks about that. The guy that has really kind of outside of Henrique, which I think like that's like he's not trending up or down for me. He's just is where I expected him to be this whole time. But like Trent Frederick for me has been a little bit disappointing. Like I thought he had some decent minutes last night at certain points, but I just haven't seen, we got this, close to $4 million contract. Like to me it becomes, one of those things that you just kind of wonder, is this everything you expected from him? I think Roslovich will easily kind of overtake that role at some point if he hasn't already. But he's a guy that's kind of disappointed me. Who wants to take this first?
Yeah, I can pop on or pounce on this one. I've talked about Savoy, Matty.
Matt.
I think he's trending upwards in a big way. But downward, I'm going to go Andrew Mangiapane. Hot start to the season. I didn't think he had that much chemistry with Connor or Leon, and I don't think he's had it throughout camp, even when he got opportunities to play with them. He had a good thing going with Nuge and Matt, but so I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that. But yeah, just not quite gelling the way that a lot of us may have hoped that he would have in the early going. Yeah, like I say, hot start, 2 goals, 2 games. One of them was off an atrocious giveaway, but I think it was Tyler Myers in the Vancouver game, the tape breakaway goal. And the other was off of he did good work on that first goal and turned the puck over and then ripped it by the Calgary or Dustin Wolf, Calgary's goalie.
Weren't we making fun of breakaways just the other night? That Mangiapane breakaway was awful. Yeah. I though last night I like Mangiapane's like shot mentality. He's got to hit the net, but I like the shot mentality. Patrick.
Well, a player that I was really liking, he's currently out right now. Some stranger mentioning there, Alec Regula. I think he's going to turn into something really special here. Really looking forward to get him back in the lineup there. I think he's definitely got the potential to maybe be a top 4 guy here a little bit down the road, but we'll see how that one goes. My guy that I'm kind of disappointed in so far, like aside from the obvious ones, is Jack Roslovic so far. I mean, that's probably a big factor. Like he didn't have a training camp or anything like that, so he's kind of coming in cold here, but I really haven't noticed him in any meaningful way so far. So we'll see. Like we know he's got that thing in his contract where there's 4 teams he can be traded to. So kind of keep an eye on that one. But so far haven't been thrilled with that. And think we were kind of joking. Things kind of went downhill after they announced the signing of him. They were doing really well in that Calgary game, and then everything went down. But that's an aside thing. But his play on the ice hasn't really blown me away either. So, yeah, I guess Alec Regula, Jack Roslovic for me.
There you go. All right. I just said he's going to overtake Frederick. Clearly, we're on opposite sides of that. Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I think we need to have a little bit more grace towards Trent Frederick. I think a lot of people are a little upset about that contract, and I think we're in October in the first year of an 8-year contract. So I think people need to understand that when Leon had his high ankle sprain 2 years ago, it took him almost a full calendar year afterwards until he was right. Like arguably a full season. That injury is so bad for hockey players. It's so crucial to be able to edge and skate and apply force. I've seen enough video of him beating the tar out of people. He took a swing at Tom Wilson at one point. Like he's been around it in his career, and I think that grit is still in him. I think he just is probably not 100% healthy yet, and it may be a couple more months yet until we see him come into his own. I gotta say, I am a little disappointed with where Henrique is at this year. If it wasn't for his no move clause, that would be easy cap space to me. And that's no disrespect to a guy that has 1,000 NHL games. That's not an easy feat to do. But I just, when you're paying $3 million for a fourth line center, that's a lot. And I know he brings a lot of intangibles to his game, but his boots are starting to fail, and it shows, night over night. And then I think the guy that I'm probably the highest on the new one is probably Savoie, but let's not mudsling too hard at Noah Philp here too. He's had 2 goals. He got scratched in between those 2 goals. He's making a lot of the right decisions. TBD on how his face-off percentage turns out, but I think Philp and Savoie are really going to surprise this team this season.
There's no way you could be disappointed with what Philp's brought to the team. I just can't. What did you expect from him? Nothing. He's given you everything plus, right?
And I do also want to throw in that Alec Regula. Like, I am so stoked for what little I've seen of him already. Like, that guy is going to change the foundation of this team yet. He is really, really, really hockey smart. He has got a really good hockey brain. He knows how to make a first pass. He's cool under pressure. He finds space, and he knows how to find space without, some of the things that Vinny Desharnais got himself in trouble with, right? Like, he's a big dude, and they're already utilizing him in some of the more complicated breakout strategies and some of the bump passes and stuff like that. And I really like that. I think his knee is still healing a little bit. His foot speed is not quite where it needs to be, but if we're all right, I think he's a top 4 upside in the medium term, and I think we should do everything we can to hold on to him.
Yeah, I love his patience with the puck. That's just not something you can teach, right?
No, it is not something you can teach. And there's currently like 2 other defensemen on the Oilers, maybe 3 that have some or a lot of that in their game.
Yeah, especially at that speed, right? Like, you could see guys in junior play like that, but when you get up to the NHL level and things move as fast as they do, and he still is able to slow it down, like, I just think it's nothing but upside for him. It's too bad we're not seeing him in the lineup. When's he back? Do we have an idea? I know he was skating the other day, right?
I think he's skating. If we're all somewhat in tune with how things are, it's probably concussion protocol, and if that's the case, then it's X number of days past the last time he had a symptom before he's entitled to come back. So hopefully his bell didn't get rung too hard. That was a really nasty hit. And he'd already had one good whack that night already. So I don't think it was a dirty check, but I think it cleaned his clock pretty good. So it sort of just depends on how his symptoms are. If he's a guy that recovers well from concussions, sooner than later, and sooner is better, because Nurse's numbers with Regula are on a completely different playing field than the ones with literally anybody else.
Yeah.
Like game 1 against Calgary, I think his expected goals for was still mid-30s, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back and look at the game report. But it was game 2 against Vancouver where Nurse was like 65% or 64% expected goals playing with Regula, and that bumped his average way up. Ever since then, it's been a tire fire in terms of actual play and expected goals for as well.
29% expected goals for, 0% actual goals for. 0%.
Yeah. Courtesy Jonathan Willis there. That's he's always on top of it, eh? He's good.
Willis is great.
Yeah, he really is. Any word yet on Hyman? Like, I know, the rumor was that the injury was far worse than anybody thought. Some of the rumors suggested that he'd never come back being the same player he was. Do we have any insight into that? Anybody hearing anything?
Still hearing November 1st.
Yeah, those two statements are probably true, but November 1st is the first day that he's eligible to come off of LTIR. 10 games and 24 days have to pass, so October 7th, November 1st. But I feel like Stauffer was saying he might even be ahead of schedule. I remember hearing some stuff that he might be ahead of schedule, but he's not eligible to come back until November 1st anyway, so we'll see. Now, the team's other updates in terms of medical stuff and injuries have all been way off so far, so I don't know what to think.
He is skating.
So I think, they don't. Yeah. They're not trying to have them accurate, I don't think.
He was skating today.
Yeah, I know he's skating. Yeah. I remember Zach's press conference during training camp where he was basically saying that he doesn't like to set goals with this recovery from this injury just because those goals are so hard to hit. You just kind of take it day by day. They reevaluate every couple of weeks and see where they're at. And go from there.
If you head to heavyhockey.com, our senior writer, mostly only writer, Ryan, posted a who's out when Wallman, Janmark, and Hyman return. You've done that. That's almost a week old now. That article,
and that info's already outdated.
Yeah, things have changed. Have you put much thought into how you'd see those changes? Like when Hyman returns, what are your thoughts? And are we still under the assumption that Howard's gone in what has he got, 2 games left?
Yeah, so apparently that rule doesn't apply to him because he signed at over the age of 19. That slide rule is only eligible for 18 and 19-year-old players. So no matter what, his contract is 3 years regardless. So we don't have to worry about the 9-game thing. Unless Howard's game picks up, I think he's an easy choice because he doesn't require waivers, and the Oilers have to clear $2.8 million or approximately. It's even a little more than that. But they'll have to clear at least 2.8 to get Hyman activated. So you need big chunks. I think we're at 23 active players. There's 26 dudes in the mix here. So you got to remove at least 3 guys that add up to 2.8 million or just a little shade over that. My choices at the time were Howard, Janmark, and I said Noah Philp, not as a slight to him because I do agree that he has played well and has earned the shot, and Patrick is mad at me for this one. But it was more because I don't think the organization feels the same way Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone out and got Tomaszek and Lazar, both right-handed centers that have a lot more professional experience than he has. I don't think the Oilers would have gone out and got those two guys and then got Jack Roslovic as well if they thought Noah Philp was going to be the answer. So I thought that they were looking at, and because at that time he had been a healthy scratch after scoring the goal. I was at that game. I know Patrick was too, but he had two really bad giveaways in the defensive zone before he scored. So that may have played a role in his scratching. But I just thought that Philp was kind of on his way out the door. But he's come back in and he's played two really great games. So maybe he's playing his way more into the conversation than we thought. But as it stands now, Kasperi Kapanen's going to be out for a long time, it sounds like, which is unfortunate because I liked what he was doing. And it seemed like they wanted to have him and Colson on a checking line.
And at 1.3, I mean, Kapanen seems a steal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's really brought his game up for this team. I know, like, he was a waiver wire acquisition, but he is a pretty significantly different player for the Oilers than he was before that.
Yeah,
so
he was kind of like a Roslovic type, where you're worried about the defensive side, right? He's fast.
And he's great, and he hits like a truck, and he runs around like a little bulldozer and gets himself in trouble by smashing into the boards unnecessarily. Dylan Holloway's hell.
When he
gets
an
element of his game, I was surprised.
It's fun to watch. Patrick, you were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I noticed a post today too. Apparently, Chris Knobloch said in his scrum last night that Janmark isn't coming back anytime soon.
Yeah. So if you take Kapanen at 1.3 and you take Janmark at 1.45, I think it is, you're basically at that 2.8 number plus and minus a little bit. Both of those guys are going to get put on Elter, and I won't be surprised if they say kind of see it a Curtis Lazar and put him on waivers. I don't think he's done much that's gonna, I know he scored in the game that he played in, but it was kind of a nothing Borg of a goal. I just don't think he's done enough, and he hasn't really been given a lot of opportunity, in fairness. But I really think he's that, 13th, 14th level forward. He's the modern day Devon Shore, right? And that's no slight against him. He's reliable. He shows up. He's clearly, cheerleads for the team. You need the Devon Shore types, but they spend a lot of time in the press box or in the minors. And I think that's probably what's going to happen to Curtis in this case too.
And I mean, everything about Curtis Lazar is just good kid, right? And he's not even a kid anymore as far as that's concerned, right? But he still seems like a kid. Like, it's just the Lazar sort of thing. It's good to have him around, I think. But I think you're probably right.
Well, he was smart too. He took that league minimum contract, so that makes him a far greater chance of getting picked up and getting another opportunity, because a lot of teams can fit him in at that price tag.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'd take the league minimum. Yeah, I could do a little bit of travel. For sure. All right, let's talk about defense. I mean, we talk about the forwards. It's easy to talk about the forwards with this team. I know, I did say let's talk about trending high and low with the forwards, and we ended up adding in the defense there, but that's fine. We'll go. What I'm kind of curious about, that Jonathan Willis tweet was brilliant, right? Expected goals for. Should find it before I start talking about this. Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it, Candy. Just give me one sec here. It's in my profile.
So, I mean, the gist of it was, in fact, I think I retweeted it too once you sent it out.
Throw it in the chat.
There it is. Yeah. So the gist of the tweet was, of all the defensemen who have appeared in all 7 games, expected 5v5 goal share. Ekholm was at 62%, Bouchard at 58%. This is expected. Emberson at 49%, Kulak 44%, Nurse 29%. Actual goal share, Kulak at 70%, Emberson at 67%. That one really surprised me, actually. Bouchard at 33, Ekholm at 29, and Nurse at a bagel, 0%. I know you've got lots of thoughts on this, Kevin. So maybe we'll let the other guys talk a little bit about this. Ryan, anything that sort of strikes you first? I mean, obviously the Nurse one, but any of the others that surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, with what Ekholm and Bouchard do from an expected goals perspective, their actual goals being that low is not a good sign. There were stretches last season where I thought they were also really struggling in the actual goals category as well. And if that pairing is not winning the goal share battle, the Oilers aren't winning a lot of hockey games. They're the most trusted pair. They get the minutes with Connor and Leon as well, mostly. So if that fivesome is not winning, the Oilers aren't winning. So that's a big problem. But I'm sure Kevin's going to have some thoughts on this too. But the Darnell Nurse situation is not good. Just not good.
No, it is not. I've been going back and forth with Noel Rinsky on this for like the last week, basically, and I'll admit that I'm a Bouchard apologist to a fault, and I don't probably apologize for Nurse as hard as that, which is fair, but I genuinely believe that over the course of a season, Bouchard well outscores his mistakes. And the other thing that sort of sticks out to me is just how much of a boat anchor Darnell Nurse is for Leon Draisaitl. When those two are on the ice together, Leon's expected goals drops to like 20%. It's brutal, or 23%. It's a real hard spot for and I think that's one of the reasons that they're stacking McDry, is to give Leon the Bouchard Ekholm pairing. So if they can shift that up a little bit so they don't have to hard match a defensive pair with a forward line, I think that'll help them a lot down the stretch. But it's kind of tricky. Technical changes here, folks. Let's look out.
We're trying something new.
Frig it, we'll do it live.
We're doing it live.
Try something new on the last version of
That's right. If we're gonna do it, then now might be the time. Oh, there you go. There's the tweet live on the air. Patrick, thoughts on this? Do we got you? Can you hear me? Or did I kill the episode?
No, I think we're good.
Can you hear me, Patrick?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say Patrick. I didn't hear you. Not much to add. That really, yeah, like Quaddy's putting in the chat there. At what point are we going to have a $9.25 million bottom pairing guy? And I think we tried to bring up Nurse as much as we can on this show, and I think there's somebody there, but I mean, he's always been given more here than I think what is capable of him. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a problem here, and I think we're going to reach the point. I think we're going a little bit in the future here, but I don't know if he's going to be an Edmonton Oiler after this year.
Well, at some point, right, there comes the thinking, right? Like we've defended him on here so many times, right? He, league or team friendly contract to begin with for the Bridge. He deserved the contract he got, and you can never take that away from a guy. Like sign for whatever you can, right? I mean, careers are short. If you got, you can take 9, take 9. If you can take, the only guy that ever took less was Connor McDavid, right? The rest of them, they need to, they don't have the same sponsorships and everything. They got a family and that long after hockey, they're going to have to support. So go for it. I don't begrudge anybody for their contract that they have, but all of that to say, like, at some point, like, at least be a $5 million guy, right? Like, be the guy that we're expecting as fans, right, to play. And I'm there's guys that you keep defending time and time again until you realize, wait a second, like I've been defending this guy for a long time, and Nurse is getting to that category. I want to see more out of him. I think he's capable of more. But last night, I said it in the group chat. There was one shift where, he made two absolutely crap decisions to give the puck away with no breakout from the zone. And the Oilers are lucky that it stayed out of the net.
Yeah, he got roasted on that one play too in his own zone, and that stuff happens. Happened to Bouchard once too. So if we're gonna call a spade, it's been ugly all the way around. But Nurse's play has not been up to the standard that it needs to for the salary that he's at, and the composition of his contract is really, really problematic for this team.
Well, it takes away all of his leeway, right? Like you can have some patience for some other guys if they're making a little less money, but he's overpaid, and we've known that from day one. But for $9.25 million, he's not going to be a top pairing defenseman, but you have to be a reliable top four defenseman on this team for $9.25 million, and he's just not right now.
Yep. And for me, it's puck management with Nurse. Right, he's only been on the ice for 3 goals against so far, which does not lead the team. It's top. Okay, so there's 6 guys that have allowed more at 5-on-5 than he has. So I don't see him just struggling with defensive zone reads and just gaffes that lead to goals against. It's puck management. That's the problem with him right now. And we've seen way better from him than what we're seeing right now. I think this is the worst puck management he's had for any stretch in his whole career, is what we're seeing right now. And he's taken a lot of heat for his puck management over the last handful of years. And I've been a staunch defender of his as well, because he does a lot of other good things as well. But yeah, puck management right now is atrocious. So having said that, that's the one area I think he really needs to improve on. It's his time in the defensive zone is going up just because he's having trouble getting the puck out with possession.
So I know you follow this, Lotsy. I mean, who's he best with, paired with? Like, what numbers does he show best? And go back to last year if you can, or if it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last year, the answer was Troy Stecher.
Yeah.
But that has not been the case so far this year. They got 3 games together, and Stecher was also a tire fire. So that didn't help, having 2 guys that were both struggling with the puck at the same time on the same pairing. I think the magic might be gone from that pairing. So we'll see how that plays out. His numbers look really good with Regula on the if you sum them all up, but if you break it down, they played 2 games together. 1 game was good, 1 game was not. So I don't know what to draw from that. And if you had 1 game with Wallman, expected goals was still below 30%. So that didn't really that didn't provide an immediate bump like I thought it might. So we'll give that one a little more time to play out. And the plan's going to be Nurse Wallman going forward. Let's be real. But I'd have some time for Regula when he's healthy to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Well, if we want to make Nurse look better, we could always pair him with Josh Brown.
That's one way.
Yeah. And I see where you're going with that. Yeah. I mean, Wallman's going to help, right? I don't think I've ever been more excited for a guy to come off of injury than Wallman.
Yeah, he's badly needed.
Yeah. And it's funny because honestly, I knew of the player, but I never really knew of the player until he ended up in an Oilers uniform. Like, if I'm being honest, I mean, it wasn't like I'd never heard the name before, but I had no idea that I'd like the guy or want him off of injury so bad until this year.
Yeah.
The positive thing is there's no other way but up from 0%, right? Like, It's just kind of, it's got to go upwards.
Yeah, I got one more thought on Nurse in this situation, and this is not just on Nurse as well. It's the whole D unit as a whole is having trouble moving the puck up ice. It's just exacerbated with Nurse. I think it was Louis DeBrusque who was commenting on it and coming out of the second intermission. I believe it was I want to say the Islanders game, but he was making the very correct point that the forwards also need to get open in the neutral zone if a defenseman's going to make a pass and they're going to get out of their zone, right? For a pass to get completed, there has to be a passing lane open and there has to be a guy on the other end to receive that pass. So when you're watching the broadcast, you just see the camera isolating on the defenseman. You don't really see what's going on up ice. And the forwards aren't doing a good enough job of getting open. So is that them just struggling to get used to a new system? Is that them just not executing properly? Hard to say. But what the forwards are doing up ice is a factor as well.
Yeah.
I do want to say they haven't had a lot of chance to practice. That's the other thing about this trip, right? Everything's been so condensed. Like, they've been some pretty mixed practices, and I don't know how much they've really gotten to polish between games. And I'm hopeful now that they're home for at least a couple minutes that they can work some kinks out and polish a couple things, because that's going to help Nurse in terms of, like you said, I think the forward deployment is not as polished as it needs to be. But there are decisions being made that are play killers, and that at both ends of the ice, and those they need to stop, especially at his price point.
Yep, all things are true. If more than one thing can be true.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're right about the Oilers. They've got a little bit of a good stretch here, as good as you can get, I think, in this season. This season is brutal, by the way. Like, I mean, just looking at how we talked about it earlier, but it's brutal.
The second half looks good.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not dire by that time. I don't think it will be. Okay, on another, we're gonna go for another 15, maybe 20 minutes tops, and call it a night. But are we at the point where we're cheering for a Flames win yet? I mean, this is brutal, right?
I mean, even the lights took the night off in the Saddle Dome tonight, so probably not. Like,
I mean,
they're playing in the stadium right now with like half the stadium lights on. It looks like a game out of the 80s. The only thing missing is the ice level fog, and you got yourself the full meal deal. Like,
you got Stanley Cup Finals going.
Yeah.
Have they really not won a game yet this year?
No, they beat us. They beat the Oilers.
Yeah.
That's
what I was
but otherwise, no.
Yeah. And
we're their only win.
And they only really had a period of hockey against the Oilers, right? Like, outside of that, the Flames have lost every period of hockey they've had, with the exception of one. And they came out of it against an Oilers team that seems to be good at that kind of hockey. But I know, screw the Flames, some stranger says. The thought of them getting McKenna is like, at some point, maybe like the odd win against like Toronto or something, we should be cheering for the Flames. I don't know. It like sometime it is brutal.
They'd lose the lottery. They probably wouldn't win it anyway.
Yeah, they can't even win the lottery. I'm sort of the feeling like the Flames could live in mediocrity forever, but I still want them to make the playoffs. There's nothing that feels better than the Oilers taking the Flames out in the playoffs. Like, nothing. Like, it's, for me, that's closest thing we get to a Stanley Cup, and then we win the Stanley Cup. Like, that would be brilliant. I hate the thought of them.
They need to burn it down. That team is long overdue to be just burnt down and go after draft picks and sell off everything you got.
Happen, though, right?
No, I know it's not going to happen, but
yeah,
just watching them flail about in this, bottom third or just almost at playoff level just means it's going to go on forevermore. And I kind of feel bad for that fan base, right? Like the right answer is burn it down, take a first round pick and or a couple of first round picks, do the whole San Jose treatment and get it done. It's going to suck for a couple of years and then a couple more years after that while their guys get up to speed. But that's where that team is at in their cycle. Losing Gaudreau and losing Tkachuk was a death sentence for them.
Oh, yeah.
And, Dustin Wolf might be able to keep them hanging around the, anywhere from the bottom of the league to, midline wild card, but they're not going to go anywhere. They just don't have the skill. And what's going to happen once, guys like Kadri and etc. start getting pissy about it, right? Like
Anderson's probably on his way out the door already. There's been rumors about Kadri already.
There was more rumors about him today, right? Like there's no shame in saying it's rebuild time, but they are well past the time that the time to rebuild was when they lost Tkachuk and Gaudreau. They should have just burnt it down right then and there.
What they shouldn't have done was signed Hebert to an 8-year deal before he even played a game for them. That's been a colossal disaster of an experiment.
He scored in his first game back the other night. That was crazy.
Wonderful.
I took him in the draft.
That doesn't change my opinion.
Yeah, I know. That's fair.
So we never did have a season preview this year, and but now we're 7-8 games in. Who's everybody surprised this year? I mean, I don't think if you say the Oilers are a surprise, I'd say you're lying because I mean half of us expected this or not, but like I think about like the Devils. Right, like they're coming out and what they beat Toronto 5-2 last night. They come out, they beat the Wild again 4-1. Like I don't know if that's a surprise. Like Hughes and that team, they've kind of been sort of on the cusp of being really good, but I just didn't expect them to come out this hot. Anybody like any surprises for anybody? Montreal obviously doing as well as they're doing. Coming in,
the Penguins sitting at 5-2. That's
probably be
that's a bit of a surprise. But how about Utah though? 4 straight wins on home ice, 5-2 record right now.
Yeah, I mean they just needed to get out of Arizona, right?
Yeah, needed to solidify a name change and do their arena renos, and they're off and running.
But
New Jersey, man,
something to do with that. New Jersey, yeah,
6-1-0, man. To start the year, that's like those guys are, and they're pretty solid season performers generally speaking. Jake Allen was good in the bits of the game that I saw. They made a phenomenal blocker save. Like, good stuff. I think there's a few teams that are surprised. Utah is definitely on that list, but we always knew that at some point that team was going to break, right? Like,
yeah.
They've been stacking talent for years.
It doesn't feel like much of a surprise because we've been waiting for this to happen. I've been on them for a couple of years already, and last year I thought they were going to be a lot better, but then they had some injuries on their back end, and they weren't anywhere close to what we thought they would be. But now they got a little bit of health, and they're playing well. We're seeing what they can be.
Yeah. Yeah, a team that is kind of my I don't know why, maybe because we lived through the decade of darkness, but Buffalo is like one of my second favorite teams. I was surprised they started out as awful as they did. I guess I always have every year. I think this is going to be it, but they've been last couple of games. They've showed a little bit of life. That's nice. We'll see if Tuck sticks around or not. Anybody you like are surprised is as awful as they are? Not present, like not the Oilers in that boat, but I think like I'm a little bit surprised. When I think about Dallas, I thought they'd be further ahead at this point because they've got such a solid team.
Yeah, Tampa Bay at 1-3-2.
That one
bottom
is
of the Atlantic.
that is a surprise. Like the Lightning they're pretty much ready, I think, for a rebuild, but I wasn't thinking it was quite that ready.
Like their core was going to start declining at some point.
They sold off part of it too, right? Like
they still have enough where they should be competitive. Like they shouldn't be bottom of the league or bottom of their division.
Somebody mentioned LA in the chat. I mean, I thought.
Is anybody surprised by that based on their off-season moves, though? Like, really?
I love that third pairing with CC and Dumoulin.
Yeah,
let's totally pay a third pairing defenseman $4.5 million a year for 4 years. Like, CC is a stalwart dude, but he's never been worth in the last, no. Like $2 million, maybe. If he was $2 million and on the Oilers still, like that actually would have been a fairly value contract for what you get from that guy. And Nurse didn't really do each other any favors. Let's put it that way. But
is it too early to be scared of the Golden Knights? I know Stone just went down with another injury, but the
wind blew the wrong direction.
Yeah. What's that?
So the wind blew the wrong direction,
but he'll be back in the playoffs. I mean, obviously they don't get the same benefit from it, but as they normally do. But
that's a piece of misinformation that's really been bothering me. Actually, is just the people that continue. I know it's funny to make that joke, but it doesn't apply anymore, and it shows, I guess, ignorance in a way of where the sport's at, and that kind of stuff just irks me a little bit, I guess.
But I mean, Vegas, Eichel's over 2 points a game right now.
Yeah, and he won't be able to maintain it forever, but it's pretty unbelievable going back to Buffalo that they refused to let him have the neck surgery that he needed to have, and now look at this. Like, it just shows you where Buffalo's asset management is at, right? Like, I feel so bad for the fans of that team. Like, they haven't been in the playoffs for like a decade.
14 years now.
Yeah, that's for the Jeffrey Aids and the guys that are in our circle, right? Like, that's hard to watch. And they've had so much good talent, and you have to wonder again, same thing as Calgary, how long until the Powers and the whatever else of the world decide that they want out of Buffalo, right? Like
rebuild 5.0 incoming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're into like minor build revisions at that point, right? Like,
it's brutal.
It's brutal.
It's absolutely brutal. Yeah. I mean, it was brutal for the Oilers when we went through it.
Yep.
But there's not even like, I always hope that they come out better, but there's never an expectation. Like, it's just zero expectation. They're going to get better year over year. I guess at some point, maybe as a fan, like it's easier that way. Like you just know that it's not going to.
You can't be disappointed if your expectations are low.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they've got some talent there. That's they've got some talent, and of course they should have talent that they can build around. I mean, they've had the high draft picks year over year over year. Darlene is sublime. Like I love watching him play. Power's pretty damn good, right? Like Tage Thompson, unreal. And
they just need to come there. They need someone who knows what they're doing in management.
Yeah, no, that is ownership problem. And as long as Buffalo is owned by the same group, nothing is going to change.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, right? Like that, and look, like, and then they traded with the team that just seems to get it done year over year, Vegas Golden Knights, right? Like, they can do no wrong. And this, as much as we'd like to think that the league has handed them everything, they continue to make the right moves.
Yeah. Trust me, we were wishing that we had either of the GMs from Florida and Vegas until Stan Bowman showed up, and Stan has done an okay job of assuaging a lot of concerns for the time being, I think. He's had a bit of an uphill battle, and that's a purely a comment about his hockey management ability. I think that he's done an okay job there, and we'll see how this year turns out. I think he's made some commitments to Connor to get some things moving in the right direction, and Connor gave them a discount and also a timeline, and I'm not necessarily certain that that's indicative that he's just going to say see ya at the end of it. He might do that, but I just think it's a way for him to give the team a discount and for him to also hold the team accountable in the process. And yeah, to Ace 96's point, the Panthers have one of, if not the best management staff in the league. Like that club is the right kind of ruthless, and they have a couple of advantages going for them that really help seal the deal. As far as like between the tax situation and just the climate and whatever else. And some players don't want to be in the Toronto and Edmontons, right? Like they're high pressure environments, and there's a lot of eyes all the time. The fan base and the analysts can be a hair on the ruthless side at times, because we all love our hockey, but
not on this show. But.
No.
No.
Everybody's level-headed here. Nobody screams at the TV, wails, teeth gnashes, or any of that, right? Like,
well, it's not on video anyway.
No. But those teams have advantages, and the advantage is not that I'm talking about is not a financial advantage, even though they have one of those as well. The advantage is the Mitch Marners of the world go there because the media doesn't even know they exist. And the fan base, it's not the same, culty following that happens with the, with the Canadian teams. And it's a lot of pressure, and only some players, that takes a Connor or a Leon or somebody who thrives in that. Crosby would have done great in this market, right? Like the guys that cook under pressure are the ones that do the best here.
Yeah. As much as like the fans in Edmonton are awful, they can be awful anyway to some of the players. I mean, it's not quite as bad as Toronto, I think. Where you're in Montreal, I know, like, you talk to media when those teams come into town, like they bring an entourage of media with them, right? Like Edmonton's close. Don't get me wrong. It's close. Some stranger brings up Arvidsson in the chat. I watched the tail end of that Boston Florida game last night, and watching Arvidsson, he spent most of the time on his knees, like spinning in the corners.
I think he's got bad hips, man. I really do. I really think it's going to come out here at some point that he needs the same surgery that Patty Kane had. And that's going to be the real, or something like that, where he's going to need hip resurfacing, because he has the Puljujarvi Patty Kane issue, which is he just doesn't have the strength to stay on his feet, is what it seems like. Yeah, he's got 2 assists -2 so far on a team that's pretty mid. And I feel bad for him, because he has the capability of being a hell of a player, but I'm not sure his body is keeping up to him at this point.
He reminded me so much of Yamo, like, very similar type of player. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sad to see him go. I hope he has all sorts of success in Boston. But oh man, watching him play last night brought back memories of last year, and want to see. There's guys though in this league that are that type of player, right? Like they just seem to be on the puck all the time. Podkolzin's one of them. We haven't mentioned his name at all. Tonight.
Both of those guys are cut from the same cloth, like just little bulldogs with crowbars, right? Like,
yeah. And I think the nice thing about Savoie is like the offensive upside. Like I think that's what he's going to bring with that type of play. I'm just so impressed. I mean, we talked about him earlier, but I'm so impressed with it.
Yeah. Podkolzin actually kind of reminds me of Puljujärvi a little bit. It's just like, not that Puljujärvi's a bit bigger, but Podkolzin's got fast straightaway speed, but he's not super agile, and he's good at checking and getting the puck loose, right? Maybe he has a little bit more offensive upside in him than he's showing at the NHL level. Like a top 10 pick, same sort of idea. He had it in him in junior at least, but at the NHL level seems to just kind of be that checking forward, and just because he can't get his shot off quick enough, he's just not quick enough to be an elite scorer. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I think just he doesn't have the quickness to have that.
I don't think you're wrong about it. He brings other things to the table, at least, that other players don't, and we can't discount. I think at least that's what the impression we get is that McDavid and Draisaitl like playing with him.
Right? Yeah, Dry loves him.
Yeah.
I think he's ready to break out. I think he's just at that cut. That's maybe not to the same extent, but I think he's right at that cusp that Dylan Holloway was at right before we lost him to the Blues, which is, we've brought him up at the time that we've had with him. He's really started to show, but he's such a smart player. Like watching, he knows where to be. He knows where to be on the defensive side of the puck. He knows where to be on the attack side of the puck. His hands are coming along. I know that is not, patently obvious from the score sheet, but he's been part of the solution, and I think he's going to continue to be part of the solution. I just think we need to keep developing him, and there's a reason Draisaitl likes him, and that is he knows his mission. He does it on the ice, off the ice, every single shift. Kind of in the same way that Zach Hyman does it, right? Like
he's still young too.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And considering what we paid for him, like I think we hold on to that kid for as long and as cheaply as we possibly can.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. All right, guys, we're closing in on a full episode. I think let's talk a little bit about some of the changes that are going to happen here that people can expect. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Those of you that are watching the recording or otherwise, we're going to do some changes on the Heavy Hockey Network. Just minor changes in terms of timing, consistency, various different things. As you've seen over the past few months into the playoffs, obviously, Kevin, you've been a regular, probably earned yourself a hat by now. We'll make sure that comes about, but we're, as you know, we're excited to have you as often, and any chance you get to join, you're just as much a co-host now as everybody else. I used to call everybody guests. I don't think I can do that anymore. And to that end, what we're going to start to do is Oilers Live will not take this spot anymore. This was something, a podcast that I created. I was looking, it's been almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years in December, was my first episode of Oilers Live. And it's been a great run. It's gone through different iterations, whether it's live streaming or otherwise, and that name and that podcast format will stay with me. I'm going to go back to doing interview style podcasts without a schedule, but a little bit regular. Try to get some interesting guests. I've had over that 8 years, I've had some great guests across various different ways, and different topics around the NHL, mostly all related, as the name suggests, around Oilers hockey. The slot that we're in right now is going to be the Heavy Hockey Podcast, named, of course, after the Heavy Hockey Network. And the duties of hosting are going to fall upon all of us. And in some form or other, you will see Kevin, Patrick, Ryan, Dash, Bob the goalie, Josh, Eric, any number of the Heavy Hockey team on here in this panel style discussion. Probably the biggest difference will be all of us will have a hosting role one night or the other, where we take control and push the subject matter and the topics and do the production and have control over the mute button and all of that. Just in case you're wondering why you don't hear from Patrick as often when I'm on. Yeah, exactly. So, that's going to go on. We're going to go with the Wednesday 7 p.m. Mountain slot, which you saw today, as going forward. However, when the Oilers play on a Wednesday, we're going to likely move to post game on the Wednesdays. Although every month we'll do the schedule up in advance of the month, so it might be a Tuesday or a Thursday slot, depending on how the team looks and who can produce and what we can do. I think that's going to, it's all going to be great. As I said before, like Kevin, having you on board has been amazing. I just want to say, it's been really great to have your insights and everything. And also to have just another regular guest and co-host that, can handle everything. This team's phenomenal, right? Each of us brings such a, interesting approach to how we look at the game, how we do everything. And for me, it's just awesome being a host. I get to ask you guys questions and add in little bits and pieces and really just feed off of your insights and everything that I don't even have to watch the games. But I do anyway. So that's how we're going to do it. And it's going to be exciting, I think. And we're going to have some other things coming about, which, just stay tuned, stay with us. We're going to do lots of different content changes over the next little while. But we're going to be more consistent in this time slot with the Heavy Hockey Podcast. You're going to see a couple slight changes. The Oilers Live jingle will go away and only appear on the Oilers Live podcast as it happens. But we'll have other jingles. We'll have other podcasts. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, anything you guys want to say about it? I'm excited for it. I suspect they'll still be on here just as much, maybe even more, just given the fact that it's we're moving to a better time slot for me out here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. Yeah,
it's definitely exciting, and you get to hear a lot of perspectives, and keeping the host chair hot or having a rotating crew there will definitely keep things fresh and exciting for everybody. But it's not going to feel too different at the same time, just because it's going to be more of this panel style format for the Heavy Hockey Podcast. It's not going to be a drastic change for viewers of this show, but we're definitely excited for you, Michael, to have your Oilers Live interview style podcast back. And we're excited for everything else that's going to happen on the Heavy Hockey Network in the next little while. I don't want to spill a lot of everything, but for now, the Heavy Hockey Podcast is a new and exciting change for sure.
Yeah, we'll get Kevin. We'll get you a hat. Don't you worry.
Yeah, well, I can't afford to get razzed by my friends anymore here, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to do some varied content, whether it's just sort of this roundtable discussion, or whether we can start getting some recorded interviews done with some people, and maybe even have some side offerings to the main Heavy Hockey content. So we'll see what happens and what materializes over the next bit. We're still in kind of the discussion phase of that, and there's opportunity there if we want to seize it. It's just some of us have quite a bit going on in life these days, so finding time to produce and create and write is difficult. And in my case, for the thing that I would like to do, it's something that I want to commit to 100%, or not do until I'm ready to do. So, but I'm looking forward that if that does come to light, that people are going to be excited for it, and it's going to be a different perspective in this market that I hope people will listen to and get value out of. So pretty excited to join up with the team, at least the very least on an informal basis, but in all likelihood, we'll see how things go for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think just exciting to add some more content here to the channel. I'll give you guys some more to watch. And I think consistency will be the biggest thing. I know a lot of people wonder where we are some weeks, and a lot of times we're trying to figure it out on the day of. So if we have a schedule here and you guys know when to find us, when to expect us, I think it's going to really help grow the channel here. I know a few people were pointing out that, Michael's done such an amazing job here with the channel, and it's the channel I think is underappreciated. I think I noticed that when I was an outside observer before I joined it, and I was watching it, and chat was pretty quiet and stuff. I'm like, why aren't more people watching this? Like, this is a great show, and it doesn't have enough exposure. So I think if we can just get more exposure to this channel, more shows, get more people watching, I think people will see just how special the Heavy Hockey Network really is. So looking forward to helping that exposure.
Yeah, so I think for this last of the live streams of Oilers Live, I'm going to take the last word tonight and say as we embark down a new path, and I think an exciting one, although, as Ryan said, it's not going to be, really different, but it allow me to do some of the things I want to do from a, just what got me into this before. And man, I've just had such a fun time with this, no matter what, whether it's, whether we get more listeners or not. Like, there's nothing I love more than getting on the live stream every week and talking Oilers hockey. The only thing that I once had Strudwick on Oilers Live early on, and I said to him, I said, Jason, you got paid to play hockey and you get paid to broadcast. I said, those are two things that I do I pay to do. Right. And that just tells you how much, I love to do it. I love broadcasting and I love playing hockey. Both things have cost me money in my lifetime. If only I could have been an NHL player, it'd be a whole different world for me. So, but I'm happy to do it. And I'm excited for all the things. I think this also, doing new things, bringing new content, all of these things. It's for me, it also brings some light to the Heavy Hockey Showdown and the good work that we're doing there. And the charity work that we do from a Heavy Hockey Network perspective. If we can grow our audience, we grow just the success of that and some of the fun things that we do around that. And with all of that being said, everyone, thank you for tuning into Oilers Live, the live stream Wednesday night edition. The last time the jingle gets played on the live stream Wednesdays. Have a great night.
Oilers Live.